Well, good morning, folks. This is Bart Mahoney at the back room of the Jointed Cue. Got a little one pocket action going on today. Have been struggling to get everything up and running again since a lot of things changed last year, and we're hoping that some things here with the room gets moving in the right direction again for tournaments. Back room has been the, the room for the last 50 years. However, things change, time changes. Tournaments, tournament players, they have lots of opportunities to play. Hard Time Billiards does a tremendous job putting on tremendous tournaments. Colin Newey is doing a tremendous job with his post-up stream, and we likewise are wanting to share in that same idea. Is that there's different games for different players. These are all one pocket players that have gotten gotten hooked on the game, and it's hard to go back after you've been with these groups of players. They are all characters. They're fun to play. They are very, very talented players. At the same time, we also wanted to develop a tournament that included the startup players, the ones that haven't spent a lot of time. And one pocket does require a lot of experience to get comfortable with the game and to be competitive at the game. There's very little luck involved, indifferent to what you have in 9-ball. 10-ball cleaned up the luck factor for the pros and the top players, top amateur players. But the idea here is just to let everybody get a chance. It's a 3-tiered entry fee, starting at $10 for the startup players. Medium level players, mid-level players are $20, and then your top players in the event are going to be $30. I don't know the prize pool today. It's a race to 2 on the winner side and loser side both. The match that you have on screen right now are 2 of the top players. Randy Walker, who's out of here at the Jointed Cue, pretty much played here his whole life, up until when the room shut down. And then when it reopened just 2.5 years ago, he was able to get back to playing pretty regularly at the joint, and his game's come back very nicely. He's won a couple of the last one pocket tournaments out at Hard Times. So that's Randy Walker. He's at the table now. I'll start giving you some information about the game of one pocket if you haven't played, just to get a feel for why these guys aren't shooting balls into other pockets, or why they do shoot them into other pockets and those balls get spotted up. But that's in a few. The other player here is George Vasquez, who likewise was a regular here at the tournaments at the Jointed Cue. But once again, Hard Times and the turnouts, the monies, bigger prizes, bigger purses. But we're not in competition with Hard Times. We love Desiree and Oscar and Collins and the whole gang. They're doing they're doing a great job, and they're also taking the game to a much different way of getting there, to promoting bigger events with the Fargos. You've got the mob tournaments. You have the regular weekly tournaments, and then you have the big stuff that Oscar's able to bring in a lot of sponsors and top players from around the world. I know he just recently had the players that had been playing in the tournament down at Columbia. I was trying to remember the name of the town. It's a beautiful pool room down there. I know Oscar had a blast. Haven't talked to him in a while. I have been kind of out of the scene for quite a while myself. But he was able to bring the champion of that tournament. Was going to be coming up, obviously, with everybody in Las Vegas this month and next month, and pretty much on and off throughout the year. Brings a lot of these top players into the area and it's great to have them coming in to Sacramento and sharing their knowledge and their lessons, tournaments, challenge matches, everything they do. And then Oscar's, never short of stepping up and make him a good game. He will definitely step up and play you, and it will not be a small wager either. So anyway, today, Backroom The Jointed Cue, 19 players, ranging from, we have 2 women in the field today, Janice Sue Nelson and Lindy Russell. Janice played in a couple of the one pocket tournaments out at Hard Times. She's had a few lessons from some of the one pocket players, myself included. And then Lindy, this is her first one pocket tournament, and I know she's nervous. She got to buy her first round, so she's able to kind of, hold the nervousness for a little while longer. But then there's, I believe on the tournament list here, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 startup players considered to be newbies. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 $20 players. And then that would leave 11 $30 players. Anybody can win this tournament today. I guarantee you anyone can win this tournament of those $30 players. Of the $20 players, there's going to be a couple players that actually could make it a little bit tough on the rest of the players. I'm not really singling anybody out because they're all here to play and win, and it's just a matter of who comes out on top at the end of the day. I think 1 second, folks. So one pocket, what is it about one pocket that's so engaging? It's one of the questions I'm always asked. Why does everybody get so involved and interested in this game? Well, quite frankly, it's because the game gets you. Once you start playing it and start getting over the unknowns as far as the rules and other things that may just kind of be in the back of your mind. I don't really know what to do here, or I don't know what happened. I made a ball, but I scratched. What do I do? And once you start understanding, it's a points game. It's a very simple way to keep track of what the score is, who's ahead in the game, how many more balls do they have to make to win the game. And then, of course, today it's a race to 2 on the winner's side, meaning first one to win 2 games wins the match. They stay on the winner's side. The second double elimination means that the loser continues to play on the left side of the board. They just call that the tournament board, which is on Digital Pool. I think it's digitalpool.com. Let me check that. Yeah, digitalpool.com tournaments. There's /tournaments /10 20 30. That's this bracket. So go to digitalpool.com /tournaments /10 20 30 monthly one pocket tournament, and that'll take you right to here if you want to see who's in the tournament. They don't allow me to go into that bracket board in any capacity because I will definitely mess it up. I can at least go there and look. Have a few people watching on Facebook and a few people on YouTube. Don't really know what numbers I'm looking at specifically, but I know you're there, so thank you. Welcome to the stream. And The game itself is just where in the second game I'll keep ball count. This is a 0-0 score. This is the first game of the match for George and Randy. But basically, I can tell you by which which hole Randy goes to here when he's shooting this 6 ball. I can tell you which pocket I think he's.
Route C.
Excuse me for a minute. While they're finishing up this game, I had to take that phone call. My phone is off now. Sorry about that. I'm only going to be here for about another half hour, and then we got a call last night. I'm going to just share a little bit of my day today. Is that all of you animal lovers out there, that we've always had a dog with the family, with the kids. They've all been grown. And our last guy, predominantly we've always had larger dogs, whether it be boxers or pretty much the boxers were the biggest of the dogs we had. We had a Carolina the last time, smaller dog. But anyway, my wife and I have been about 2.5 years without a dog at home because all the kids are grown and gone. And we just hadn't really settled into what we wanted to do about who the next dog. And we got a call last night. So a longtime friend called, and there was a couple that turned out the wife was allergic to the dog, whether it be their hair or their skin or their whatever. And we added it up, and last night my wife and I decided to go pick up this beautiful little female Siberian husky mix, predominantly husky. We got these big old ears like our last dog. We couldn't help, just seeing them big old ears, 3-month-old puppies. So I'm going to duck out of here for a couple hours or an hour. Anyway, just to go get this new little girl that's coming into our home. And don't even know the dog's name, but, our heart goes out to those that have lost dogs or have had to put dogs down. It's a tough go, but boy, I'll tell you what, it's pretty exciting when you've got a new one coming in to join the family. And this girl, she's being spared going through the usual channels because they were going to have to at some point. They just didn't know other than to take them to the SPCA, which then it's always a coin toss. But the SPCA does as good a job as they can getting animals, relocated. And there's a lot of people who just only get rescued, only do dogs that are rescue dogs, and my hat's off to them too. We created these animals. They roam the earth. They are entitled to a place to live comfortably and be taken care of if necessary. Families are always easier because there's more in the house. But even my wife and I, even being seniors, you know, we know that we can still, you know, do our part and take care of it. So we're pretty excited today. That's. But right now we'll go back to one pocket. Enough of the dog world. We all, if you have dogs, you know you love them and you get pretty excited about them, as we are. So Randy, it appears, if I can see the tray, and it looks like George has got the lead. Yes, George is on the hill. So George is shooting to the lower, in your view, the lower right-hand pocket. Randy just bumped that ball into the corner. Those balls just spot up. And Randy needs the rest. So Randy needs to make all 5 of these balls in his hole before George makes one ball in his bottom right hole. Randy has the bottom left. Pretty much here he just wants to see all those balls. I kind of, a few different ways he can go. If he runs the cue ball, if he goes through the 8 ball, tries to push it over to his side of the hole, gets the cue ball down on that upper right hand side of the, I think that's the 15 ball up there. I think that's probably what's going to do, something like that. It's got to get it past the angle on that 15 so there's no bank. Yeah, see, well, that's probably going to work out just because it got wide enough to where it doesn't leave an easy bank on that 15. Plus, Randy's putting the pressure on him by keeping that 8 ball near his hole. George has got to get the 8 ball out of there. He might try to cross this 8 ball. He might. He's got those 2 balls blocking that corner pocket. Not much chance of a scratch there. He's going to juice it. He's going to go ahead and send it that way. And that leaves Randy a little bit of room here. Randy can possibly, I don't think he can cut that 8 ball across, but he might, or he may be able to rail that 8 ball. He shouldn't be too aggressive here, though. He's behind on the count. He wants to make sure he's not leaving that 15 ball, anything on that 15 ball. So he's just looks like he is gonna try to cut that ball over, because the scratch is not a threat because both pockets are blocked. Yeah. And here he just doesn't want to leave anything on that 9. Good shot. And he got that turned out really good. He got the blocker, that bumping that 15 ball off the rail just changed everything. George is going to try to cut that ball into his pocket and call it a day on this first game. And he hit it pretty sporty. Good shot, George. It might have rolled off just a tiny bit. But Randy's got no choice but to follow that ball in. This is only, he's going to spot him up. Going to spot him up. Needs to follow this ball in. Even a simple little shot like that, I hope you all notice things that the better players do, is that they take their time looking it over, and then they settle in. You're not going to see them shoot quick. Shooting quick is really, really disrupting to the rhythm. Most players have a pretty methodical, steady approach to shooting balls, but then there's those that do play fast, but there's still a rhythm, a timing to the shots they make. George, I think he's going to try to push this 8 ball through. Pretty good effort. Might get the kiss off the 14 to his side, 15 ball. Randy's going to more than likely just kick underneath that 14 and 8 ball. More than likely. I can't see him just, if he was taking both out or just kick underneath it is what I'd expect. It's not great. It's a makeable bank. And George is known to move the balls pretty well. Now here, this is a problem big time because Randy can follow that 15 in, force George to shoot, but he's got the, shooting the scratch shot with the 8 ball. I don't know what he's doing. He's going to try to bank it to his hole, just make it and get it off that side of the table. That's a good try, but no avail. Game over. So we got one. So the first game took about 39 minutes. And I don't know why the scoreboard on what you see is not recognizing the one game that George made. Supposedly it's supposed to do the ball count also, but I don't see that working either. So as far as score, I'll just keep track on, I can see the ball rack, I can see what the score is. Well, it's a beautiful day out there in Sacramento. That's one of the things about California is the weather is very moderate to mild most of the time. I'm watching Benny and Chick Melson. Benny Ventura and Chick Melson playing on the other table. If we get through this match with George and Randy, I'll switch over to that match. But I see where Benny just made a pretty big mistake. It's got Chick in a spot to do some damage in that game. See, George is just jammed up right here. He kind of doesn't have any choice other than to send the cue ball up table. I believe George's pocket is the bottom right. And if it is the bottom right, I'm not quite sure why he's not just ticking off that 9 and going up table. But he sees something here. I guess he's just going to try to get that ball over to his side. Cleared the 14. That's what I couldn't tell. We don't have we have new cameras coming at some point in time, which will definitely make the viewing of these matches better. I know they changed something in I don't know. It's different than it was a year ago when I was in doing this with John Henderson. Rest in peace, buddy. It's where we kind of calibrated all these players as entries. We got back doing the round robins that him and I did. 11 of them. I think John and I were together on at least 7 of those. And I can see the table better right from the booth than I can on the screen. So if I'm not catching any comments or, matter of fact, comment if you can hear me okay. I didn't even think to check that. It's been so long. And little technical things on the digital pool, updating some scores. Yeah, I don't know why it's taking so long this time. And the ball count's not showing up in your folks' end, but I can keep you posted. It's 1-0 George on the ball count, 1-0 George on game score. George is just trying to jam them up a little bit. Not really too much trouble for Randy to come down to the bottom rail. All right, Randy's just going to put it on the bottom rail. The big objective there is to get that cue ball frozen to the rail, frozen to the backside of a ball. That's your free lesson for the day. Always, always, always get connected to the cue ball speed and get connected to the rails and the balls. If you're going to roll it up to a ball, make sure it sticks to it. If you're going to roll it up to a rail, make sure the cue ball sticks to it. The difference is your opponent is going to only have half a ball to work with because they're shooting over a ball or shooting off the rail. It limits their ability to maneuver that cue ball dramatically. They're pretty simple shots that even the best of players won't necessarily try it just because it's too hard to control being jacked up a little bit, or even worse is if you're jacked up a lot. Scores 1-0 George. Game count and 1 ball George to 0 Randy. I thought he might kick down underneath those 3 balls and just go underneath that 14. I don't know why he wouldn't have been able to do that. There, you know, he pushed 2 of those balls to George's side. Didn't really jam anything up. And now George can pretty much come off that 6 and just send the cue ball. If he can get to the, now he's going to probably play off that 6 ball. Put the cue ball over by the side pocket somewhere. He doesn't really have anything offensive on this shot, but he sure wants to protect that 14. If he could get the cue ball to roll up right by the side pocket, that would be ideal. Yeah. Yep. Or beyond and behind that 10 ball. The danger there is if he over rolls it, he could sell that 10 ball out. Also, if there's anybody in the chat, I see there's a couple people there. If you could tell me if you're hearing me okay and if the chat is working. I looked away to the computer. I didn't see what Randy did there. It looks like he scratched, which is a disaster. He did jam up that 12 ball. Okay, so he must have played off that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't see it. I see the aftermath. I see he moved it. He's just going to push that 10 ball down, move things around, and maybe a little bit of house cleaning on those balls that are hung up. Just keep the cue ball there. Kind of basically the same, leaving Randy the same shot that he had last time. I just don't know. Randy should be able to just ticky off that 4. Yeah, probably get off, just bump into that 4. Get it down here on the bottom rail. That's the key. If you can get to that 14, I don't know. I can't see from his angle exactly, but it sure seems like he needs to keep that cue ball down in George's corner pocket area, right in there close. JC and John and Jay jumped in this tournament. Jay Omer, the manager out here at the Jointed Cue, they're having a laugh over something. It's the beauty of one pocket. You do more laughing than you do getting mad. You make mistakes, of course. You don't like making mistakes, but at the end of the day, you have to kind of laugh because it's always looks so simple, and it's not. All right, well, Randy's gonna, he might be able to get a little bit aggressive here. Move something over to his side would be very helpful. But, yeah, see, that's no good. He had to get that cue ball down on the bottom rail. It's too high. The 14's in play. Or man, these cameras aren't very good. I can barely see on that screen. I hope your computer brings it in better. Yeah, that was bound to happen in that situation. Yeah, George should get at least 4 or 5. If he can break up that 9 and that 4 ball, he's off to the races. George has 4 balls. He needs 4. Yeah. Yeah, we should just the 9, 4, 8 should be it. Or the 10. Just depends on where the cue ball comes out. He might come back, go across. Should just stay right there. Yeah. A little tricky to get shape, but George has played a lot of one pocket. He's just going to come back and forth with the cue ball. Get somewhere above the... Oh, Dan Miller. I just jumped over to YouTube. Loud and clear. Thanks, Danny. Hope you're enjoying this little bit. I know you're one that would prefer to have a conversation, you know, at least happening on the stream. And even better yet, know what the scores are and who the people are. And I'll do my best. Yeah, Randy's, the fact that he didn't get anything more out of that, it's Randy, same thing first game. I don't know what the early count was, but when we first got on, Randy was 7-3 down. All right, now Randy is down 7-0. Having to make all 8 balls, which is doable, but it all happens 1 ball at a time. And he's got a little bit of a problem right here because he can't see the 8 ball, I don't think. The 310 is goofy. I think that 11 ball is good to his hole. Yeah. I don't think he can see. He's weighing his options, but to try to throw just one ball down towards his pocket doesn't make any sense. If he hits it really good, maybe, but I think he can see that 8 ball. If he can see the 8 ball, he can. He's not going to. He can't. Looks like he's just going to try to go through this 3 ball and let it come down here to the bottom rail. It's a pretty darn good shot. He's got to buy some time for sure. No time limit today. We talked a little bit about that in the players meeting. Most everybody knows, even the players that are new to the game. They asked about just, can they ask questions? I said, of course you can play and answer questions. Just what will happen if this happens, etc. And a big thing Terry Stonier always promoted with this room from day one was to keep the good sportsmanship. It's more important to keep good sportsmanship than it is to keep players. There's a lot of players that just want to win. There's a lot of players that just want to play for the money. I heard a little bit about how just a little murmur about how there wasn't any added money to this tournament. Well, the turnouts haven't been great at the Jointed Cue. It's been kind of hit or miss because a lot of players get their fill elsewhere, and sometimes they need to have time with their families and do other things besides just play pool. Although most pool players are pretty much stuck, on playing pool. When they get the spare time, they want to go hit balls. That's kind of just something that happens with this sport. It's very addictive. And but until there is a good steady, I would say if we're maintaining 15 to 20 players, I'm sure a couple $100 would be put into the tournament. But to just get started out, you got to get these little kinks out of the game, as far as why nobody shows up. I don't really know why. I can speculate, like I just said, that they have, a great room. They have great owners and great players to play across town. And I go out there and play tournaments when I do. Of course, it's not very often. I don't take much time to play anymore at all. I only have one regular game a week. Oh, Randy. That's a tough shot. Tough break, tough loss. So George wins 2. Sorry, I'm having to do something on this with this little mouse. Hey folks, I'm going to switch this over to this other match between Chick and George. go Benjamin Ventura and Chick Melson. George Vasquez beats Randy 2-0. And we have, I can't see the game score, but it looks like we have, it has to be Chick's hole. And it looks like it's see which hole Benjamin is shooting now. I think he's shooting to the bottom right hole. Yeah, he is. So the bottom left hole is Chick's. Chick Melson's standout player, stand-up guys, outstanding player. He's played his whole life here at the Jointed Cue. Graduate of Sacramento High School about 10 years before me. And he's given Benjamin all he can handle. He's winning this game 6-0. I do not know the game score. Benjamin's a very good player. I've seen him around for years and years. He's just starting to play one pocket, so now I'm starting to see him around even more. It's great. Great to have more one pocket players. Okay, so I guess that it's not coming over to the other match. I'll figure it out. Give me a minute. Like I say, I haven't messed around with these tools I have here for a year. It's been not a year, but it's been. Like I say, I haven't messed around with these tools I have here for. I was checking on my own phone just to see if what I was doing here worked. Jay's playing a match with JC, but I was able to find the right. I think I did. At least it was right on my phone, so assumably you're watching Benjamin Ventura and Chick Melson. Chick has a 6-0 count. He's just got everything's jamming up by that side pocket, so he's kind of stuck with. He could actually, I don't know if he can see much of that one ball, but if he can, he should be able to. He should be able to just. Yeah, he can't. So he's just gonna probably break all that up. He should be able to come 2 rails back underneath the 6 and the 9. I'd have been a little more aggressive on that. Benjamin wants to take that 10 ball out of Chick's side if he can see it all, or the 5. Yeah, see right there, you can keep them all bunched up there, but you get a couple balls out, it can make a big difference. He can get back underneath that 6 and 9. Benjamin could have gotten back underneath those 2 balls pretty easily, but he chose just to bump it. That doesn't allow him to gain anything for position on the table. Right now it looks like he's just going to bank that 6 back up. Yeah, it's just not really going to change much for Chick. Chick doesn't have to really worry about anything. He's got a 6-0 count lead. And I don't think he has to. See, right here is a perfect example that Benjamin can bank that 6 ball over to his pocket, bring the cue ball 3 rails or 2 rails, 2 to 3 rails back around underneath that 9 ball, possibly get underneath the 9 ball. It's just a free shot. Get the, yes, he's not one to juice it, I guess. Chick can cut the 6 ball now. That's where a little pocket speed would have gone a long ways with that 6 ball just laying it into his corner. But Chick's not even looking to cut it. Or is he? He's finally looking at it. Yeah, hit it pretty sporty. Good shot. Now Chick needs 1 for the match. And this is where I told everybody earlier, those that are still there listening and watching, is I'm going to be ducking out of here for at least an hour or 2. I'll come back and pick up where I leave off, see who's still battling it out in the tournament. This will go into the, at least early to, not too late evening. These guys, we should be wrapping this up 8, maybe 9 o'clock at the latest. But I'll be back to keep everybody with some idea who's playing and what's the score. And if you have any questions about the game, consider the next month, March 23rd, we're going to be doing a startup players, entry-level beginner players, for the better choice of words, one pocket tournament, $10 tournament. If it's gauged well, maybe they all want to play for 20. There might be a little bit more involved. And I already have 5 or 6 players that are very interested. There's a novice group that's Kat Guest has been the one helping get all of that put together. Her and John House, Jana Sue. These are all people that kind of just planted the seed. Maybe it'd be good to have a startup tournament, just like Terry used to have a B player tournament on Monday nights, A player on Tuesday. That was the mainstay tournament for decades in Sacramento. Definitely the place to be, and it worked real well. Just kept developing players. Now Benjamin's going down on this one. Chick's gonna make this 9 ball. That takes care of this game, and it'll tell us what the score is too. So we're 1-1. And I'm going to take a break. So it's not like there's a mob of people out there watching, but when I get back, hopefully, hopefully I get a little better understanding of the equipment. Until I do, I'm going to be a little bit off with my keeping track with the score and everything. So I'm going to chime out right now. I'll be back in a couple hours, and we'll see you then.
All right, everyone. Apologize. Bart Mahoney had to step out. He will return. This Randy Walker jumping on. Got some matches going on right now. Stream that you're watching, Benny versus Chick. There's a little bit of a delay in between marking up the ball count and the games. There's a little delay for some reason with the software. So apologize if it gets a little behind here. I think we're going to have to probably reset it here in just a little bit to hopefully correct that. But for now, at least you get to watch and see what's going on. Another match going to start up on the other stream table, depending on how this match is going that we're watching between Benny and Chick. I might switch over to the other table. Pretty good matchup going between Tony Lopez and Jay Laz. And then on some other tables, the two other tables in the back room here at the joint that's not on camera, we have Billy Burgess playing Walt Dorsey. That match right now, I think Billy is up 1-0 in a race to 2. And the fourth table is JC versus Jay Omer, and I'm not sure who's winning on that one. I will get. I'll try to share the digital pool bracket right now, so that way you can follow along. There's a player that you're looking for. I'll share it with the Facebook page, the Jointed Cue Facebook page, as well as the Jointed Cue YouTube page. Sharing those out right now. So feel free to click on those links and follow along. I'll be flipping back and forth, looking for chat. So if anyone has any questions or whatever, I'll do my best to flip back and forth between the different platforms and answer those. If you haven't already liked, please do. We would appreciate it. If you haven't shared, definitely do. This is the first One Pocket tournament of this type of setup ever here at the Jointed Cue. There has been a couple little One Pocket tournaments over the last year and a half or so, but this is now which Bart may have explained earlier. This is going to be going on the last Saturday of each month. Race 2 winner side, race 2 loser side. It's tiered entry. One Pocket players going to play 30. Your standard One Pocket players that play around town, know the game, play well, are going to pay 30. Your mid-range players are going to pay 20, and brand new folks, people that play pool but never played one pocket before or just learning it, they're going to pay 10. And as the $10 and $20 players start to get a little bit more proficient and they start winning games, or they start showing that they're learning more and becoming more consistent, then those players will start to pay more in the future months until they reach the $30 mark as well. Had, I believe, 19 players show up today for the very first one, so actually a really nice turnout for the very first one. And I think there would have actually been a couple more people here, but they're currently in Vegas right now playing. So, but yeah, I'd be appreciated if you share it out to your pool playing friends, whether they played One Pocket once before or they play it more frequently, just to let them know that it's going on, something to watch for today. This tournament will end today. May run later into the evening. 19 players, race to 2 on both sides. Some of the games or matches could start to run a little long depending on who's matching up with each other. That's just kind of how One Pocket goes once in a while. Benny wanted to have that ball come down a little bit more and be able to play that 4 a little straighter. Be able to get shape. He could still shoot this 4 ball in though and just kind of drift down, come up. It doesn't look like any of the other balls go in his hole right now. Looks like maybe he could play, if he gets down far enough, he could play a carom with the 11 ball off the 13 maybe towards his hole. Ideally, that shot the chick played was a good idea. Needed the cue ball to float up though behind the stack a little bit more. That's the only problem with hitting that shot soft is sell out of bank a lot of times. The ball looked like it rolled up just a hair. Nice attempt by Chick. Did sell out the 4 ball though. Still doesn't look like anything else goes to Benny's hole though, but Benny does have 5 balls. So this, he makes 4, this makes 6, and then he can maybe try to get that 8. Looks like he might be able to soft kick behind and maybe just hit the point and have that 8 ball come out. Or he may just choose to go ahead and make it for him because nothing else goes. If you are tuning in, this is one pocket, so each player has one pocket down at the end of the table to shoot all their balls into. The first one that makes 8 balls in their pocket wins the game. It is a race to 2 per match, both the winner side and the loser side. Now Chick has a shot here, a 3-railer on the 12 ball, and then he could just leave the cue ball behind the stack. It's pretty much a free shot towards his hole. He could get lucky and maybe, make a combo on one of those balls. And that's what he shot, but he made the ball and he went with follow. I think it would have been better just to try to leave the cue ball behind the stack, because then it wouldn't have given Benny a opportunity to get those 2 balls away from Chick's hole like that. And on the other stream table, it's they're in the first game, but Tony is up over Jay Laz. It looks like in the first game, 7 balls to 2 balls. So Tony just needing 1 ball, and he does have a bank shot shootout right now, so he might be able to take this first game down, which he does. So Tony's up 1-0. All right, looks like players are on a little bit of a break. I'm going to flip over to the other table. Just so there's no downtime with playing, since we do have other matches going on. And again, the score on this one right now, Tony is up 1-0. They're into the second game. The scores aren't being updated through the system right now. So apologize for that. Hey, anyone watching right now, apologize. Working on the software right now to get scores and stuff to update properly. So the stream may shut down for just a couple minutes. Just look for a notification that it's back going, or just check again back in a few minutes. Thanks.